Life.
Oh yes, definitely doing a thing.
Yeah.
Definitely reading, definitely.
I do need to actually read up on kobolds at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How is your glorious adventuring going, by the way?
So I haven't. I'm on the third scene at the moment, and I was actually talking to Andrew and Anitra from Family Gamers last night, doing a kind of an chat interview with them about what I was doing. And it sounds really cool when you're explaining it to someone else, because I can whittle down all the minutes of me searching and questioning and staring into space. So it flows really dynamically. But I feel like I'm kind of, I'm on that bike with stabilizers, and it's starting to pick up a little bit of speed as I'm kind of getting into the flow of it. And, I've had a couple of quite long conversations with John about what I've been doing and how he's been doing it. And I have his blessing. I haven't done any. I've set myself up, to make it a real challenge for myself.
Yeah.
But I haven't done anything technically wrong. And it's pretty. If you're okay, I'll kind of rave about it for a bit. So, like I was saying before, I created 2 characters and just randomly rolled them. It's Tana, the gnomish wizard, and Klexichex, which is the dragon-born barbarian, who is kind of now just Klex, because I didn't want to keep writing Klexichex all the time. And so the adventure opened, I took the settings from Untold, the sheet where we answered the 4 questions. Where does this take place? When? What do we know? And I just rolled story cubes and randomly generated this world where there's essentially the humans are kind of crusading against the giants. The humanoids are crusading against the giants. And it's a kind of a Germanic, Scandinavian vibe to the whole thing. Like I'm not gone on oozes and all that stuff. And so the adventure opened with I rolled the like a throne as a location and a giant, or what could be a giant. So I kind of said, and the giant is pursuing someone or something. So I said, in the kingdom of, and I have to remember its name, Askanar, a giant is pursuing someone or something towards the castle, right? So there's. So then I kind of asked questions the way I normally would. Who are they pursuing? And I kind of came up with the idea of there was scouts being pursued. And they were riding on what I call pantheraxes, which were like large panther-esque mounts. And a hill giant was pursuing them. I wanted to call them a forest giant, but they don't exist in D&D. But I think I'm going to start calling them forest giants.
I'm pretty sure, Rory, as it's your world, you can do what you like.
But I kind of feel like there should be forest giants. Like, why wouldn't you have forest giants?
There are hill giants, aren't there?
Yeah. And they're seen as being really dumb, whereas I think forest giants would kind of have some kind of interest in nature and be quite prone to flinging trees at people. So that was the kind of the opening. The giant is pursuing these things, and I thought, okay, so that was my first thing. I have to create an encounter. How do I make all of that work? So I kind of said, I need to kind of like put my heroes in the middle of it, because given what was going on, I was like, they could just ignore it, and like, and that doesn't really suit the nature of the game. So it's like, okay, this has to impact on them directly in some way. So I said, okay, well, they're on their way to the castle to deliver a message to. But yeah, I asked, why are they here? Why are the heroes here? And I rolled a kind of a gnome character and a goblin-esque character. And I said, okay, they've actually been off meeting with representatives from the kind of gnome kingdom and the goblin kingdom, like the giants, and they're on their way back to the king to deliver this message when they hear the panther, the hoofbeats, and they kind of like race past them. They turn and see these scouts like race past them, and this hill giant kind of rumbling towards them. and that kind of just opens the encounter. And that's the first thing where John was like, you wouldn't really start with something like that, because that giant can kill you and will kill you. And I knew that, so I set the counter up to just be survive. Like they just need to survive this encounter. And so I looked at what the giant, I rolled for initiative. Giant had initiative, so the giant basically threw a rock at the scouts and missed. I gave it disadvantage because they were riding hard and intentionally trying to dodge it on their way back. They weren't attempting to fight the giant; they were just dodging the whole time. So they managed to dodge that. Our heroes were up, and Tana, the gnomish wizard, cast a firebolt on the giant's loincloth with the intention of setting it on fire. Because it was like, I'll just distract them. Like, if we can slow the giant for a little bit and buy the scouts some time. So it worked. And I kind of then did a wisdom check to see if the giant was smart enough to ignore it. And it failed its wisdom check. So, and I'm still trying to figure out like how you work checks the right way, whether you want someone to succeed or fail, like in this setting. So I set it like a difficulty of 10 and it rolled under. So it kind of stopped and starts patting down the fire.
I mean, I would call that a successful thing because, it's noticed that it's on fire and it does not want to be on fire anymore.
Well, that's what I was because its goal was to get because the fire wasn't really going to hurt it, like, given the size of it. So
I'll set fire to your trousers next time I see you. We'll see how that goes.
I know, but the size of the giant compared to the fire, it's like a sting.
He's just wearing bigger trousers.
Okay, but so I kind of figured its intent is to go after the scouts. So it doesn't want to be distracted from that, and this had distracted it. So it failed. It's kind of like, I should be doing this. It makes more sense for me to be doing that. And so I then asked a question in Untold, so being like the GM, how are the scouts reacting to what Tana did? And they say, I kind of rolled story cubes and I got like a Little Red Riding Hood type figure and a kind of tankard. And I said, so the leader, Elwyn, looks over and says, last one back to the keep, buys the beer or buys the ale and keeps on going. And I did have actually Tana sitting up on Klex's shoulders on the Dragonborn for a better view of the giant. So they basically, then the giant throws another rock at the scouts, and this time it lands and one of the riders rides into it. So it was a hit, and I kind of went, it lands just in front, the rider can't avoid it, hits, gets unmounted. And then our heroes have their action and they run and hide behind I rolled to see perception check. They saw something, rolled dice, story cubes to see what it was, and it was I decided it was an overturned kind of prison wagon, where the driver had seen the giant coming and basically legged it and left the wagon there. So they hid there, and I was talking to John, and he said, "Yeah, you probably want to end that encounter at that point, because you're not going to outrun or you're not going to avoid that giant." And I felt like the scouts had got far enough ahead where the giant just gave up. And
if the objective was survive, then the mission has essentially been accomplished by them getting away far enough. So you're good. I
think the issue was that it was like I got the hit on the first turn.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a bit too easy. But I knew every round that this kept going, there was a chance that we were going to get smushed. So the way John has been playing Untold with D&D is that you have 2 encounters by the end of the second scene, and ideally they both happen in that first scene. And they're both of medium level. So you just basically set the XP level of what that should be based on who's playing. In my case, it should be 100. Each encounter should be 100 XP. 2 medium encounters should be 100 XP.
Okay.
So I said, okay, they hide, and we need to have another encounter. So I decided that an ex-convict is actually still hiding in the wagon, and so the characters are there catching their breath when they kind of see these kind of blankets and sacks moving, and this essentially thug bursts out because they're exactly 100 XP, and basically says, "I'm not going back there," and starts attacking the two of them, and has like a double attack. So it kind of lands a pretty heavy blow on Klex, which worried me quite a lot. And then Tana was like failing every round to like hit it with a firebolt. It was like, oh no, I tried to cast sleep and like failed miserably. And then it was like the firebolts were like zipping past, just missing until and I did one of the things I've kind of taken in from Untold is, the way we have the tokens that were used for like adding ideas and re-rolling dice.
Yeah.
So I'm actually allowing myself to use them to like force a re-roll or to give myself advantage or give someone disadvantage on something. Because when you're playing with fewer characters, the ante is a lot higher even when things go wrong. So I kind of had to re-roll. I had to spend one to re-roll the thugs, the convicts attack, because it would have taken out the Dragonborn, and I knew Tana wasn't going to survive that. But then luckily Tana rolled a critical hit on the firebolt cantrip and basically set the convict on fire, and that kind of ended that scenario. They basically knocked him out, tied him up, and went back to the scout who'd been knocked over. And that's when we flipped over to scene 2, which is the revelation of the plot thickens. And we discovered they had a terrible secret. And it was basically that the scouts had like angered the giants because they had kidnapped a giant child, and held them hostage to force the giants to reveal information of a traitor in their ranks, in the kingdom's ranks. And so they kind of didn't want anyone to know that, but we'd earned the trust of this scout because we'd kind of saved their life. So now we've moved on to the next scene where we've gone to the castle. We're on our way to meet the king and deliver our report of what's happened when we get ambushed by some kobolds. And that I kind of decided I'd roll for perception check. So the kobolds were pursuing the heroes. And I thought, well, I'll roll to see if they notice first. And they completely failed on the perception check. So I kind of went, they're walking in the corridor and they basically fall through, there's a kind of a trap there, and they basically tumble down into a kind of an underground cavern that the kobolds have dug into underneath the castle. And they are now surrounded by 5 kobolds, which are 125 XP, which is a like higher medium level encounter. They're about to face them now. So that's why I was kind of looking at Volo's guide to get some tips on their kind of combat strategy.
Cool. I mean, it is a thing. It's like a version of D&D that I will never, ever, ever play. But I find it very interesting, like, your approach to it and how you are, how you're making it work. Taking this element from here, taking this element from there. It's really, really interesting. It's cool.
Well, I mean, I got to hand it to John. I'm just trying to make it easier for other people to use by asking the questions like, why is it like this? And he kind of realized, oh yeah, I haven't actually spoken out loud about this to anybody.
It just exists in his mind.
Yeah, in that crazy brain of his. So yeah, that's one thing I did do actually is incorporate the reaction cards from Untold, and that was quite fun because I revealed one, and what was it again? It was basically they were laughing. So it was like, and I think it's a really good thing when you encounter like characters or NPCs for the first time to reveal one of those cards to just see how their general demeanor is when you encounter them. Because I'm trying to incorporate as many elements of Untold as I can, and that's pushing it further than what John was doing. So that's kind of interesting, and I'm going to try and incorporate some kind of like boost the social encounters in a way where we're using more of those encounter cards or the reaction cards. See how I can use them.
Cool.
But yeah, it's been. I like the not knowing whether something's going to happen, and the like, oh crap, we could die here moments as well.
Nice. I mean, I've really got nothing else to sort of add to that. I've not really done a lot. at all.
You've been well. The other thing, I don't know if you did. I went and looked at Button Man because I hadn't seen that game before.
Oh, okay.
And it looks really interesting actually as a mechanic.
Yeah.
I was going, I could do it with Prisma Arena style characters. I could do it with Test of Honor characters as well.
Yeah,
because essentially
do it with whatever. It's great.
So I know the characters don't actually mean anything in it. It's more the dice combos that they have.
Yeah, I mean that's why they went full on the Sailor Moon Crystal version, which is still something I would like to try and get my hands on at some point, but it's pretty hard to find specifically locally. But maybe next time we ever get to a trade show again or something like that, that would be pretty cool. Let's see who's in the chat, yo.
Yeah.
Satan's in the chat. Hello. Welcome. We've got Mike as well. The other Rory, Roll Them Bones, is also around. Good day. And as Ken says, the champ is here, but that's on a different stream, Ken. Not Mike. I mean, it says it's there. It says.
Yeah, he's here just to tell us, and then he's going to leave afterwards.
I tell you what I did do yesterday. We are continuing our Marvel watch through. Last night was the 798th time I've watched Thor Ragnarok, and it continues to get better and better and better and better. Do you remember, I think it was in the lead up to Infinity War, they released some sort of like weird little promo shorts where Thor moved into an apartment in Australia. So I didn't realize that there is a third one.
There's an Office one, isn't there?
So that's the Office one is the second one where he's sending an electronic mail to Anthony Stark. But there is a third one which is attached to Ragnarok, and Thor, of course, has left at this point. So Daryl gets a new housemate, who is Jeff Goldblum.
I have seen that one.
I hadn't, and it was just sort of like, oh my god! I'm delighted that like Daryl continues in this fantastic universe, and I hope to God that they do another one for when Love and Thunder comes out in whenever a couple of years at time. So that was fun. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok is great. It's Steph's favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. As they keep on shouting, there is not an ounce of fat on this movie. Everything is perfect. Everything does something. Everything is worth it. And it's just like, yeah, that's super good. And yesterday I started playing a video game called Undertale for the first time ever, which
that's been apparently out for quite a while.
It's been out for ages. Yeah.
My kids have even played that.
Yeah, but I never had. But it dropped on Xbox Game Pass, and if you have Game Pass, you have it for PC. So I grabbed it and started playing it yesterday. And it's utterly lovely. It's so weird and meta and strange and self-referential. And I have no idea what I'm doing. But I've been assured by the champ, Demo Ken, that I'm doing okay. I'm not ruining anything. I'm not breaking anything, so that's okay. So yeah, it came out in 2015, says Ken. So it's so good.
I'm happy to report that Ashes Reborn is on its way.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very happy for that. Though I can't meet it's one of those games where you can actually play it remote, like with someone, because we don't have to touch each other's cards. So I think we'll actually kind of I'll meet up with Stephanos and a couple of the others and just play on a park bench or something together outdoors.
Well, now we can. What with the sky being blue, and
I know I didn't need a coat on today,
dude. I'm wearing shorts. I mean, admittedly, I'm wearing a cardigan.
Underneath your cardigan.
It was like the sun came out this morning, and I was just sort of like, "Holy, it's the time! It's the time!"
In true Irish fashion, it's like
the
tiniest sliver of sunshine.
I'm not going to wear any long trousers between now and October the 9th. That's it. Shorts all the way, baby. So it's fine.
And I'm still kind of reeling from our hangout on Wednesday with Rob and Henri. It was just incredible, like what
It was good
himself
times.
and his partner and brother have created together.
It was good times. People should definitely go watch it. Also, literally like 10 minutes after we came off offline, Rob completely removed his, Rip Van Winkle beard and gave himself a proper haircut and everything. It looks like he was just holding on to like that so he could show it off on stream.
I don't know whether it was because that was his picture promoting the live stream, and he kind of felt like he shouldn't cut it, until after that. But yeah, it was really weird. It was like literally after he hung up. I'd say Neve just grabbed him and like sheared him.
Yeah. He looks like he's been sat on an island with a volleyball called Wilson for a very long time, and now all of a sudden he looks about 15 years younger. So
yeah.
It's weird saying, oh yeah, that person who has a beard is a complete baby face. It's just sort of like, no, he is. He really is. He looks so much better. Better? That's probably rude. So much different. That works. Shall we do a thing, my friend?
Yes, we shall.
All right. Do you want to explain to the good people at home what we're actually going to be up to today?
Yes, let me just bring one up. So today, I failed to connect. Hang on. I'm having weird internet connection things today. So bear with me. Okay, so today we're thinking. I've been trying to go like through the list of variants and things that I've kind of thought would be fun to try or experiment with, and one of them was the idea of like, why are you stuck with 2 Mocon if you have access to a range of emotions? And so it was the idea of playing with kind of essentially tagging in and out Mocon to help you as you're playing. And we were kind of haven't thought too hard about it. There's the obvious approach, which is when a Mocon gets bounced, you replace it with another one. And I was saying, but the kind of unique thing about this is in Prisma Arena, this idea of summoning your emotion to help you do something. And I think I would like to also, so it's like, I think also include the option that when you activate a Mocon, you can kind of switch it and essentially move 0 to use their ability. Now it's not going to work on all of them because the timing won't quite work. But for some of them, you could, like Inu, you could, as your activate Sunna, switch them for Inu and trigger their distractibility. It might be a bit convoluted, but I would like to try and explore that idea of you intentionally summoning them and it not just being a result of them getting bounced from the arena. It could even be that they're actually all just there, but you only ever get to activate 2 per round. So you could also do that one where you're just switching them in and out as well. But I think the simplest one to start with, like we said, is switching when they get bounced. But I wonder, what do you think of that other approach of using an ability?
I mean, the switching when you get bounced, I think makes the most sense from a rules point of view, because it's like, hey, this thing has gone out, so A has been knocked out. You still have B on the table. C is being brought in. C gets knocked out. Still have A on the table. A gets brought in. That sort of thing. That makes the most sense from a gameplay point of view for all levels of players. But yeah, we were talking before. I like the idea of this sort of Pokemon-esque. You can switch essentially, and I'm not sure about using the ability when they come in, but I think it's entirely cool to try it.
But I mean,
it might work, it might not.
I'm just thinking it may slow. Well, let's try it where you don't use the ability. It may slow down the game, but that is probably the easier one to do it. So you just activate. I'd say you can activate and do a move only. Now Now the thing is, do they switch positions or do they come in from outside of the arena, or do they could also appear adjacent to the hero? Like, there's different ways to do it.
The answer to that, I honestly don't know. It would make sense to me that if something gets pulled from the square next to the center of the board, the thing that will go back into the square that's that's next to the center of the board. Because there is that whole thing of, all right, so if I am in the line of fire and then I decide to switch and I pull the Mokon that's in the line of fire out and I respawn its replacement back at my back line, that kind of makes a bit of a mockery of the strategy that you're trying to, that the other player is trying to pull together. And we never want to punish people in the game. If you're given the opportunity to change something or do something in the game, awesome, fantastic. But you don't want it to be too easy to pull something out of the fire.
So then, do we allow them to perform just like a basic action when they come back in, or is it just a straight up swap?
I'd say let them do I'd say if you want to do it, let's do a basic action. Like being able to do a basic action and then throw it into a combo, I think is too much. But I foresee it being used most when people are going, okay, such and such has got 3 hits on them. They're going to get wiped if they don't get the hell out of there. So I would tag them out, replace them with something that's got no hits on it. And then that means that my Mokon is sort of like still standing. However, the thing the Mokon that gets taken off still has to retain the hits. I think that's going to be the most important thing. They don't get healed because you bring them off board.
Okay. And I suppose I'm just looking at some of the chat, the idea of bringing them in, from the edge of the, the moving to the edge of the arena to swap. The concept of the Mokon are they're projections. So they're not physical. They're more energy beings than like physical creatures. So to me, it doesn't make as much sense to send them off because they're kind of like projections is probably the best way of putting it. So that's why, to me, they'd either appear around the hero or they'd switch positions with an existing one.
Ken sort of like likens that idea to like the moving the back to like you've got to see the tag in wrestling. You have to drag yourself back to your corner, and the other person has to, to be there holding onto a tiny little rope. Weirdly enough, roaring is logic. Jeez, whatever. Although Ken has another suggestion, which I think would be a bit of something to consider at least. What about they leave and the new one comes in fresh, but the opponent gets the points for the damage they dealt? So if you've done 2 damage on my Mokon, I take it off. You score 2 points. Ken, would you suggest then that the damage is then removed?
That would actually keep it quite clean. Yeah.
I think that might be an interesting way of going about it. It's like, okay, that's fine. You get out of there. I'm just gonna let you. I'm gonna let you get the extra points off of it. Yeah. So the new character comes in 100% healthy. Would you suggest then, Ken, that the old character, when they come back in again, comes in 100% healthy? I would assume so. They've had time to relax.
Yeah. So the idea is that when they leave, they're essentially being bounced. It's like and you're giving the points to the opponent, and you're switching in the fresh character. So the one that was kind of bounced at the lower hit level has had those hits removed.
Yeah.
So they're going to come back in.
Okay. Yeah. Like Ken said, you're just bouncing early. So I actually think that's a really nice idea, because making that decision of when to pull a character, it's giving the opponent points, but it's also like, saving your backside a little bit. And the decision to actually pull them out, you might choose sometimes to not to pull them out, because hey, if if you're going to get another hit on me anyway, I might as well try it so you don't maximize the amount of points that you're scoring. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
But I mean, what Ken is saying is, with something like Farg, you'd be really gaming it if they came in damaged. But in a way, you kind of want like that anger to fire and time it. But I think what he's saying makes sense, mainly because I'm thinking of the tidiness of you being able to kind of drop cards, stick to 2 dials and just switch out the Mokon in those positions, and you're not worrying about tipping over or losing hit points because they're always getting removed before you put in the new character. So it makes it a bit cleaner.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And one thing that we always wanted with Prisma Arena was it to be as streamlined as possible.
There's something I do really like this idea, and if it could work, that who said it? I think it was Ken said it, that they move adjacent to the hero to trigger the effect. Now, it might be a bit much, but I love that idea of them kind of like going back into the hero and then like the other one coming back out as well. So it's not that they're, because that ties them to the hero, which is kind of thematically what we want. So yeah, actually, I'm going to suggest we try that because I think that's the most thematic, and it ties in that notion of that they're synergistic to the hero.
Yeah, they are a part of you, and with that, bringing them in and then sort of summoning another one out. So just for clarification on how we're going to play this then, would it be you move Mokon A, say for example, if they're 2 squares away from you, you go 1, 2, comes into you, they disappear, and then Mokon B comes out 1, 2 for using a full move action?
No, I would say the switch happens at the end of their activation.
Okay.
But the other Mokon can come in any space adjacent to the hero.
Okay.
I don't think they have to come in exactly in the same spot where the other one left.
Okay. Do they come in with a reset action dial?
No, because you can only have the 3 activations on the turn.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because essentially with them, we're having 4 activations per round, which would probably do more damage to the... It would be unfairly balanced if one player's doing that and the other one isn't.
Rory does mention, not played it, but The Hobbit, An Unexpected Party, looks like it has a cool subbing thing. If you draw a character, clear any negative effects, but all opponents get a point. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what we're doing. We're getting, like, the only real negative effects in this game is, they are the hits. So we are removing them. We're making our characters 100% healthy, but we're doing it with the points. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right, do you want to choose some Mokon for us then? And we'll...
No, I'm just going to shuffle them all together, I think.
All right. Including the glorious new ones. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. It did shuffle. So I'll take one, you take one.
Okay.
I think.
All right, so I've got Inu. Are we going to just draft? So Inu's the first one we pick is always the first one, second one is always second, third is third? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it that way. It's the easiest way of going about it.
But yeah, I think in a general game, you'd probably draw them all and then choose which ones to field straight away. So I'm going to have Krusta. So we've got a little bit of anger going on. And I've got Grava. Okay, so I'm going to... I've Brown.
Now the trick, where to put these.
Yeah. Because
off to the side, I think that's fine. I won last week, so you will be going first.
Huh. So this is really interesting with this. Brown the Sad. Commiserate. When Brown or another friendly hero is bounced, you may place 1 to 2 hits on their hero's hit gauge. So, technically, so this is the thing. Are we calling this being bounced? It could get really interesting.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think for simplicity's sake, keep the language standard all the way through.
So that's going to be funny.
It's like, I bounced this one out for. All right, so Michael, you get 1 point. Oh, I'm just going to put 2 points on this hero of my own color. It's fine.
So if I bounce Brone to switch in another character, or even another friendly Mokon, so when Brone is switching in, I get to put 1 to 2 hits on my hero's hit gauge, which could bounce them, which would diminish your points. Yes, I like this combination. I'll see if I can make the most of it, though.
I mean, I've got my happy, angry, distracted combo, which is basically me. So that's great.
So we're going to start with 3 cards. I do have one of the new ones in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how they work. Did I win last time? Did you? I think you did.
I won last time. Yes, I gave you the token.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. So if you want to start loading up the arena, we'll see what goes on.
Let's go there. I'll go up there.
Okay.
I do. That's my next thing is to try some new obstacles.
Yeah,
I didn't have time today to do that. I have to say, Combo Clash is getting a lot of love, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad other people see in it what we do. That's probably the best way to put it.
The fact that it's an absolute ass kicker of a game. Yeah, it's great.
Let me see.
I'm going to go for more of an open space kind of thing. See how that'll go. I've got a suggestion from Mike. If your Mokon has not moved or used an action, the new one gets full movement and actions. If you had to move the Mokon to get to the new one, then it has no movement. Same with its actions. Could be a thing.
So, so we could do it where at the beginning or the end of an activation.
As long as they're within range. Well, as long as they're literally adjacent.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, just to go a bit further, is it adjacent or within range?
I would say adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got to be sort of like consumed and then exhumed.
Okay.
No, neither of those words are right. You get place first, yeah?
Yes, I do. And I will put Agla here.
Okay.
Here, there. Over to you.
All right. Ready to go.
I will let you go first.
Oh, bless you, so kind. All right, then let's activate Inu. 1, 2, 3, 4. And while they move, they'll do the distract. So heroes controlling player must shuffle their hand cards back into the deck and then redraw that many cards. As you can probably tell, I was not super happy with that that opening draw. That's more like it. Cool. How about you, Sam?
So just to, I think, test things from the very beginning, I am going to activate Krista, but I'm going to switch them already. So what's the best way? I'm trying to think what's the simple. I kind of want to stack cards on top of each other, but I don't think that's going to work.
No, I think you're just going to have to replace them.
Yeah, I want to find an elegant way to do that.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be a lot easier to do in real life if you
because you have two hands. You have
two human hands.
Okay, so I'm gonna activate them for a move. I go 1, 2, 3 to there.
Okay. One, 2, 3, 4 for the hero with a simple move. Okay, change my camera one. There we go.
Okay, I'll activate Agla. I'm gonna warn my hero. Yeah, and then they're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 to there.
Okay. Cowardice, I see. Well, Farg will move as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done.
I will activate my hero. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I assume some sort of blast is going to happen.
Yeah. I'm actually going to... And then I'm going to perform a diving blast.
Okay.
Which is going to put 2 hits on you.
No worries. All right, so that comes us to the end of the round. Everybody resets. New cards are drawn. And then I have to get rid of something.
Zayt is saying it's snowing.
What?
Where they are.
I mean, I know Belfast has that whole 4 seasons in one day vibe. Like, if you don't like the weather in Belfast, wait 10 minutes, it's fine. But snowing? It's like nearly April. The wildness of it all.
Okay.
You want to go first? You want to go second?
I will go first, just for fun.
Okay.
So I'll activate my hero.
Unsurprising.
And blast for 3. Before you can get Sona in the arena. Then I'm going to leap. 1, 2. And perform a... what'll I do? I think a dual strike. So I'll put 1 on the hero first. And then I'll put 1 on Farg. Although it doesn't actually matter because Farg isn't.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Because he's not going to get done.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've totally left myself open, but hey.
Okay. And that's the end of your combo.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's see what I can do here. Surprising nobody, I'm going to bring my hero back in.
Oh, I should just got my 6 points.
Yeah, grab points. So
you get the extra card.
I do get the extra card. Delightful. All right, so I will 1, 2, 3, 4. hit you with the leaping strike, which will do 2 damage on you. Like, all I want to do in this game is just do one cool combo move, one cool thing that involves,
like a synergy thing.
Yeah, bringing, almost like using everyone and everything. All right, so then we're gonna bust out with the charge. Move 2 to 3, ignoring grappling. You may strike with force 1 during the move. So 1, 2, 3. Smacking you for another one as I run by. And then I shall direct blast your Brone the Sad.
Okay, so when Brone or another friendly Mokon is bounced, you may place 1 to 2 hits on their hero's hit gauge. So I will do that.
Okay.
So I'm basically trying to deny you points.
Okay, that's fine. So direct blast is uncomboable, so that brings me to the end of my turn. Crap. No, that's not where I want it to be. No, that's fine. Say, has your package arrived yet from Ken? That's the burning question of the day. Is it out for delivery today?
So I'm actually going to I'll try this actually. Okay, so I'm going to activate Agla. And none of them are going to work. Oh yeah, they will actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to warn my hero. Back to there. And then move 1, 2. So I'm using them as a meat shield. Oh no, hang on, I don't, because 2 hits onto Farg. I had this horrible feeling I was going to bounce Farg. And
are you doing the focus blast? Yeah.
Yes. So 2 hits on there. And then at the end of my activation, I'm going to switch out for Krista. And I am going to bring them there.
Okay.
I was debating whether to do it before, because maybe I should have, because then I was behind. No, I'm ahead, so I don't want. Yeah. No, that was the right thing to do. So the next time they activate, I'll likely be behind, and I'll get their benefit.
I will. Let's activate Inu. 1, 2, 3. And we'll fling that into a focused blast, which will hit
Krista
for 2.
Nice.
Like so. Over to you.
So I will bring in Brone. Go 1. Oh no, so I'd strike 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll go there and perform an evasive strike. And jump.
Strike, then move 1.
Yeah, so I'm going to move.
So I'll hit my hero for 2.
Do I go there? I will go back there.
Okay. All right. See if I can do something fancy. So Farg is my last one to be activated.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to move. 1, 2. I'm going to absorb them out. So you get 3 points off of that using the Ken ruling.
Mm-hmm. So that is the end of their activation, yeah? That's the end of their activation?
Yeah, so they're going to come off the board.
Yeah.
When Farg is bounced, the hero must immediately blast to strike a rival or friendly character with force 1 to 3 if possible. The hero may move 1 space beforehand.
I forgot about that one.
So, who do I want to kill? I think I'll bring your... So I'm going to move 1 space, and I'll do the 1 hit on your hero, which takes them off and gives me 4 points, I think. Yep.
2, 3, 4, yeah.
Okay. So that gets me to 8. So your hero's off the board.
Yeah. I realized that might be broken when it comes to Farg.
See, you say broken, Rory. I say clever play. Cool. So your hero gets wiped.
Yeah.
And that goes to your...
And you gain 4.
I got my 4 points already. Yeah, so...
And you're still on the lead. Okay.
Still in the lead. I'm okay with that, then.
No, but I want you in the lead.
Oh, good. It's good to know.
Okay, so it's the end of the activation?
That's the end of the activations. So, tidy up. Draw some more cards. Take that initiative. And think about things. Okay. I kind of think I'd like to go first. Yeah, let's do that. Let's activate. This is probably foolish, but let's activate Inu. Doing a straight blast onto Croster, getting me another 4 points, gets me to 12.
Oh, that actually was probably a smart thing to do.
Well, getting Croster out of the way.
Yeah. Because the benefit is only on their first action.
So Inu is good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold there. Now, of course, bringing your hero in gets you another card, but I'm all right with that. So as Croster's been knocked out, do you bring Agla in now automatically, or is it still the choice? Is it still a choice to absorb?
I think it's a choice. Because I'm really frustrated right now.
Oh,
so it's fitting that like Krista should still be there. That's more what I mean. Like if the hero's frustrated. So I'm trying to think because they only get the benefit on their first action, which would be a move.
So you could move 5, or you could blast 4.
Hmm.
But you're not close enough for anything.
Nope. I need like a throwing strike or something. Yeah, I think I'll activate my hero.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to draw a combo card.
Oh, Saint says she's put a snow pick in the Discord. In my Discord? Like we don't. I know we have a Hub Games Discord.
We do have a Discord.
I completely forgot about that. Hub Games Hangout.
I'm just loading it now as well. As my internet completely shuts down. Okay. Can't do it. Okay. Oh, it is in your idle account. So it says.
Oh, like direct?
So you have gone.
Oh.
Yeah, you have gone first. Okay, so.
The idle cinematic
so I get the card,
universe.
and I'm.
All right, so you got your card.
Yeah, so I'm starting here. I'm going to strategize. And I will put that in, back in, and go 1, 2, 3 to there.
Okay. It's my go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to activate my hero. We'll kick off with the blast. 1, 2, 3. Just hitting your hero.
Yeah, your
I'm
hero
just
is activated.
No, I activated Inu first. So I'm going to do that.
Sorry, I wasn't thinking straight.
And then I'm going to barge. Yeah, I don't mind being in the way there. And then I'm going to hit you with a dazzling blast and knock you off the board again, Rory.
I was slightly distracted. I think Inu was doing their work.
Inu doing some good efforts there. Powerful efforts. So that gets me to 18. Mm-hmm. This one's going to be a quick one, I think.
Yes.
Like we're both leaving each other like way out in the open. So it's like, yeah, let the power go.
Okay, I will blast with Bruin for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not going to work. Yeah, and then Inu has activated. I will. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Oh, sorry, I didn't place Sunna on the board. I started the turn on that space, so.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, well, this is new experimental rules.
Yeah.
Roy,
no, then I actually have to do something else for my.
Yeah.
I will continue my activation, I think.
Okay, so
no.
I would like you to choose a place where Sana will spawn. You just can't be here.
No, just bring them in. Just bring them in.
Okay.
Okay. Then I will weave. One, and then I'll just do. I'm actually going to move one, and then perform a diving blast. There to hit your hero for one more.
No worries. All right, yeah, I knew I'd forgotten something. Sorry. Okay. I am going to move Sana 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the way. Pulling them back. And that's me done. And you have Crosta remaining.
Okay. I do. And you used the advantage last turn, didn't you?
Yeah, so you'll be getting the advantage next time.
Okay. Okay, so when Costa activates and their squad has the lowest score, they may take 1 hit to add range +1 or force +2 to their next action. So I don't actually need to do that. I'm just going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Perform an evasive strike.
So that'll be enough to get me off the board.
Which is going to hit you for 2, taking you off. So I'm on 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will. So I need to move 1. I'll just move forward 1. I'll actually. Go there.
Okay.
Okay, and
that's the end. So let's reset. Draw. That comes into my hand. Flip and shuffle. And
I'm liking this.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you get first call.
Yeah. Shoot.
Ken says, I don't know who's winning, but Ken's not. So many meetings. Ken, I'm winning at the minute. It's glorious.
So I think I need to go first. Right. That is not going to help me. Okay. Probably not the best thing to do.
Second. What's it gonna be? Make the decision. Take the shot.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh no, I'm totally doing this. Sorry, I forgot. So when Costa activates, and my squad has the lowest score, which they do.
Yep.
You may take 1 hit to add force +2. I'm totally doing that.
I figured you were going to.
So, I forgot about that. So I take one hit.
All right, so you take a hit, and that is enough to blast Sonna out of existence.
Yeah, so I'm going to score 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so that gets us to final
now,
round.
do I want to run away? I have a great combo card here, but it's not going to help me. You know what? I am going to play it just for safety. Teamwork. I'm going to move 1, 2 away.
Okay, so move 1, 2, ignoring grappling. A friendly character may strike or blast with force 1, either before or after you move.
So I was concentrating on how to make that work, and I was forgetting Krista could actually just blast Sonna out of the arena.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was what you were going to do from moment one. Hang on, let me just move these down here. There you go. Bit more space. All right, so let's see. Can I do anything with what I got?
Now, I'm quite surprised because I thought like the way you used Varg essentially gave you a free attack, without me netting the points. So that gave you quite a boost. So I'm quite surprised I'm in the lead.
All right, with Sonna coming out, I'm going to put Varg back in play. But I'm going to activate my hero first. One, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get you, but
I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna run Bruin over there with Krista.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to activate Inu. Using their distract ability during a move action, Inu performs. They can also target a friendly or rival hero within range. I'm within range. The hero's controlling player must shuffle their cards back in. All right, so I'm basically desperately fishing for a blast.
Can you do it, Michael? Can you do it?
Will luck be on my side? All right, so drawing 3.
With all the talk of cookies, I'm really hungry. Did you get an even worse hand?
What's that saying in baseball, Rory? When you get 3 strikes?
Right.
3 strikes, I'm out. Yeah, I can do nothing on this one.
Ken, I'm not asking specifically for your cookies. I'm just saying I would really like some cookies now.
Yeah, so I've got to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a blast to be had on this side of the board. Not a thing.
Okay, back to me.
Yep.
That's all you needed to do. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm just giving you the extra glory.
1, 2, 3, 4. I have a direct blast. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice. All right, so Ian is off the board. Congratulations. Varg comes in, activates, and stands there looking grumpy. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
Nice. So, what are you thinking?
It adds a bit more thinkiness to the base game, like as in because we're not using powers, and like the ideal way to play this is you would actually have like each player would have all 8 Mokon, and they would field 2 at a time, and they're just switching in and out the Mokon they want as they're playing. It would create a crazy game, but it would be much more thematically fitting in terms of the emotions changing as you play the game. It'd be a lot to deal with in terms of like the ultimately like 16 cards, but you could do it where you had 4 or something.
Yeah. You could draft at the start of the game or whatever.
But I do like the idea of switching, because to me it captures that feel of your emotions changing as you're playing. And it adds that layer of thinkiness of like, oh, hang on, because I was trying to think if you were going to try and time bringing Sona in to give your hero the extra, extra support. And I kind of felt, I don't know, were you trying to set up your hero to be? No, because you brought in your hero before Farg. I was trying to think whether you were trying to set up Farg to get bounced, or your hero would get maybe one last attack.
For that last bit, no. What I was trying to do was, because the hero can only be distracted if they're on the field. So because I had a hand of trash that would not be able to get me anything, I knew I had to get the hero on there first, because then I could use Inu to distract them and hopefully get some better cards or anything that had the word blast on it. But nope. Not today, because then I would still have had Farg. Basically, I needed luck to be on my side, so I could get a couple of blast cards in a move, and that was just not going to happen. But if it had happened, it would have been awesome. But my plan of like, hey, what I would like to do is pull off a nice weird combo happened by bouncing Farg out early and having the extra one hit, so I could get your hero off the board. So I'm entirely happy with that. Something fun happened, and I'm good.
What one of the things that I was trying to do, which is a little bit potentially a little bit cheaty, but would have been fun, was I was trying to figure out how I could cycle Crust out and bring them back in as the other Mokon. So like. Activate Krusta, have them perform their action, bounce them out, and switch them with like Agla. So now Krusta's off the arena. Then before I activate Brone, switch them out for Krusta. So I'd still be angry, and I'd get to trigger their effect. Then that might be a bit kind of abusive in how it works, but there's something interesting in that, cycling the timing of the different characters, because I think that's one of the biggest challenges, where I would almost, but it might be I think it pushes it too far at the beginning or end of any of your characters' activations. If there's a Mokon beside you, that you can switch them out, so it could even happen on the hero's turn. I think that would help set you up for some things, but I also think it might be just a bit too convoluted, because the whole game right now is always focused on, I'm looking at this thing, and this is the main thing I'm thinking about. And, so you're not watching for kind of passive effects being triggered. So it kind of makes sense to keep the switching happening before or after you activate that Mokon, because that's kind of what you're looking at.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think the sort of thing that you're thinking about it being, oh, this is potentially open to abuse or whatever. This isn't a game that has, hardcore tournament play yet. So I don't think that's a thing you need to really worry massively about right now. I mean, obviously, you want the game to be as balanced as possible, but we have so many different combinations of Mokon available to us, and the introduction of this new of this new switching rule. It's literally brand new today. So it's like, I don't think you need to worry too much about it now. But like, if we were in a position where this was like, a game where tournament play was a thing, or like, just organized play in people's stores, you might have to do some sort of like, tweaking of essentially a ban list of actions or whatever.
But I think
that's how you keep the game alive, really. You keep it
but
going.
I think the whole spirit of this game is the kind of competitive play is kind of counter to it. So I think there's certain things where you can allow that kind of rubber banding of every moment being, more powerful, but it has a consequence later on in terms of it rebalancing. It doesn't necessarily happen within that game, because I think the whole spirit is you'd have to say you're all training in, it's like a tournament and you're all training in preparation for something. So yes, you might want to show off you're the best, but you're not going to claim a massive prize, because that's not what this is. It's not the spirit of you hammering someone else. It's like, no, you helped each other get better. That's the kind of point of it. But yeah, it's what I like is it's allowing you to see more than Mokon on the board in a game. So having 6 in play is nice. I think I think 4 each might be a higher mental load, especially for
I think that might be a bit too much for now, for sure. But managing 3 is entirely fine, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to manage it is if one gets bounced, it kind of like gets removed and another one comes in. But
constantly cycling through and through.
Yeah, through. But I kind of feel like these are the feelings or emotions you're bringing to the arena for that game.
Yeah,
and that's kind of nice. So again, I'm kind of curious from the chat. Obviously, I think we only did it 3 times. I did it twice, if I remember correctly. You did it once.
I switched Farg out, and then I switched Sunnet out. So I did it twice.
Okay.
But the second one was kind of it was kind of a desperation move. But yeah, I think it was okay. Ken says the goal is not to win; it's to train.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in the universe that the game is set in, that's definitely for sure. The Joneses, what up, Joneses? It's a very judo-like philosophy, mutual benefit.
Exactly.
It's very, despite the fact that the game is about fighting, it's very sort of.
But it's
philosophical.
To me, it's that kind of the martial idea, like of it's to do with the spirit and the intent of it. It's not necessarily, it's not like Cobra Kai where you're like, I'm gonna crush you. It's the true spirit of how training and how fighting and the correct, judicious use of strength or force is a worthwhile thing. So it actually is partly inspired by, in nonviolent communication, there's a concept of the protective use of force. So even though the idea of nonviolent is to do about the use of kind of blame and criticism and shame, as in attacking language, but the protective use of force is the idea of there are times when needs aren't going to be met, and the best way to actually protect people or help them to meet their needs is the protective use of force, which means you will use force, but it's not intended to punish the other person. And they actually, when we trained on this, there was a really great example of in a kind of a hostel where a lot of people would kind of, if they're drunk and homeless, they would come and stay. It was in the Netherlands. And people would get quite aggressive, having had alcohol. The staff they had certain key staff who wore those big sumo suits. And they would just, if someone was being aggressive, they would just come in and pile on that person. And the whole idea was that by wearing these suits, they were slightly comedic, and it was very clear their intent was not to harm the other person. But it was but that behavior needs to be contained because it's not meeting the needs of the other staff or kind of residents. And likewise, it's the use of, if someone steps out on the road, you don't take the time to explain to them why they shouldn't step out. You grab them and pull them off the road so they don't get hit by the car. So that's kind of for me is that concept here. It's like there's appropriate use of force, because I always say you're training to be able to drive off despair, because you don't kill despair. So when despair does, eventually show up, you need to be able to drive it off. Understanding the balance of things, you don't eliminate despair. You just kind of hold it at bay. Sorry, that was a non-life lesson.
But no, like from a technical point of view, I think it works really well. I would definitely like to play that version again a few more times. I bet you could work out some horrifying combinations of Mocon pulling together. Because we know that most of them sort of like interact kind of a little bit with at least one or two others. So it's another sort of level of satisfaction being able to do something cool with them in this brand new way. So yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
I'm just doing a quick flick through the cards, because that Farg one completely caught me off guard. I forgot. I was like, that
was me thinking I was being super clever, but no, it's just you being hyper forgetful.
Okay, so I don't think it affects. It won't really affect any of them because none of them are triggered by bouncing. Paean is an interesting one. So it would affect Paean. So during a move action that Paean performs, they may store 1 to 2 hits, but ultimately it's when Paean is bounced, return all the stored hits to the hero. So you could intentionally bounce Paean, forcing the hits to be returned to the hero, and take them off the board as well, if you wanted. So you could time it for your benefit. And then Tishnok from strike. If the hero is not bounced, Tishnok remove 1 hit from the hero cage. Okay. Yeah, it wouldn't affect Tishnok. It won't affect Donna. Trishok it might. Trishok, when Trishok activates, you may increase range. The end of the hero bounce the hero. Oh, that's the hero getting bounced, so it wouldn't affect them. Though it would affect your ability to tag Mocon if the hero isn't in the arena. Fistrock, when they end adjacent to a rival hero, no, doesn't affect them. I won't affect New Hook. No, so it's actually Farg is kind of the main one where you can bounce him to trigger an effect, or Broen actually are the only two.
I think that's okay. It's not like overly dominant. It's not super horrible, and you would have to be, lucky enough to get those characters dealt to you at the start of the game, unless you were like introducing some sort of, hey, I'm bringing these ones in for sure.
Yeah. So Ken is saying no one is triggered by bouncing yet, but actually it's Farg and in the kind of current set, and then Broen in the kind of new ones we've been experimenting with. So it'd be actually really interesting to have both of them on the same side.
I can see what you're signing up for next week then.
Yeah. So hang on. So if you bounced your hero, or if you bounce Farg, you get to trigger the hero.
Yeah.
And then Broen allows you to put 2 hits onto that, onto the hero. So you could kind of chain those things together and get the hero off the board. So if the hero moved into a position to blast someone, and then you could use Broen to put 2 hits on them and bounce them back out of the arena. It'd be a weird timing thing. But
yeah, definitely. It's one of those one in a, not going to say million, but 1 in 100,000 chances that like you actually manage to pull that off. You're actually managing to do a lot of the things that we theorize is tricky.
Yeah. It'd be fun though to, I think, maybe try that next week. Try those two together and see how they work.
Oh yeah, I'd be up for that. Good times.
Cool. Yeah, I won't add any other changes. I think we'll just experiment with that a little bit more, unless I think of new combo cards in the meantime.
Yeah, I think a couple of weeks of trying out this tag team version, I think would be very, very nice. Just sort of like keep it going.
Oh, actually, sorry. The one thing we didn't do, I was trying to think what we had talked about last time, was actually getting a 4-player game going with what did we say? With some of the new Mokon. So we were seeing kind of more of them in play at the same time, or some of the effects to see how they work when we're playing a team game. Well,
yeah, we'll get that sorted out as well.
Maybe look into that.
And then a 4-player
with tag team Mokon.
1 versus everybody with tag team. So everybody's walking in there with 2, but you only have 1 at a time. And yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. That'd be awesome. All right. So what thrills and spills you got for the weekend, man? Anything good?
The tabletop mentorship roundtable events are happening this weekend, and I foolishly signed up to host one. So we're talking about what's the topic again? It's essentially what I want to explore is the idea of games and play and like new areas that they can be used to explore. So it's kind of still very much on that idea of games as being a sandbox to explore ideas, and I don't think they currently explore enough. Because they when you look at them, a lot of them are about optimizing engines and stuff like that, but they don't really allow you to explore themes or concepts, and so I think I don't like the whole point is I don't have the answer, but the round table is, and I don't even know who's going to turn up for it. It's just a discussion about that, and we're doing it at 12. I think it's noon my time. Okay. No, it's not, because it's. Oh, hang on, I need to check because it's the time zone difference. I think it's 12:04. Let me check my. Sorry, I'll take.
If it's 12 o'clock 12 o'clock our time, that's going to be like 8 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that's too early. So let me check. You think I would know all this? So it is. Yeah, I'm 4 o'clock actually.
Okay, so 12 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah. And it's an hour. So yeah, that would be. Hope to learn something, and there's actually some really interesting other chats going on as well. So I'm hoping to sit in on some of them as well.
Cool. I think the only exciting thing I have planned for this weekend is I'm going to be playing Undertale, of course, playing that tonight and probably tomorrow as well. May even get it finished tomorrow. We'll see. And then watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier this afternoon.
I was wondering if you had already watched it, or have you what's the general response to it? Because it looks like a bloke action movie, which doesn't really appeal to me.
So the trailers have been full of a lot of humor, which I'm very, very pleased, because Bucky and Rhodey, I want to say, yeah, no, not Rhodey. Oh, what's his name? Dude who plays Falcon.
Yeah.
Dude who is Falcon. They really hate each other, and it's very funny, like having them both in the same. We've seen them before in the same scenes, and they just sort of like rile each other up massively, and they've really played on that a lot in the trailers that we've seen. So I'm going to assume that we're going to get a lot of that. Sam Wilson, thank you very much, Ken. On your left. So yeah, I'm assuming we're going to get a lot more of that in the show, but they'll eventually come to some sort of entente, and it'll be okay. Yeah, it's definitely going to be more blasty boom boom than WandaVision.
Yeah,
but it'll be good. There's not been a Duff MCU thing yet.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see they put they had the first poster for Loki pop up yesterday as well?
No.
And it's just sort of like, bring it to me.
I'm really curious if they're going to use this to introduce young Loki, because they're setting up for Young Avengers.
A certain Steph Burrows Fox has been saying exactly the same thing, because if he's going to be farting around in time, and he's just loving, he just likes pushing buttons, something awful's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the question is, does Tom Hiddleston keep playing him, but youngified through CGI, or is it somebody brand new?
I think it'll have to be someone brand new.
I think so. It's going to be good times, though, regardless.
Just on the kind of the Marvel vein, before we finish up, I've actually been reading back in February during Black History Month. I bought a whole load of like Black Panther comics, particularly the ones written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I'm now reading the one where it's like Wakanda in space. And initially, I was like,
that's a thing.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting idea that early on, some of them they had space travel like from quite an early time, and so there's a whole kind of like space empire has been developed, and they talk about Wakanda Prime, but it's like from way back. They don't remember it.
Okay.
But it's kind of like the story of slavery. It is the vibe I'm picking up on, because they don't remember where, like, they've kind of captured people, they've kept them, and they are essentially have been kind of slaves, and they've forgotten their roots of where they're from. And there was just a revelation in the current issue that I was reading. I was like, oh, that's really smart. And, you know, how he's kind of weaving that whole thing together. So, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It's part of Ta-Nehisi Coates' run. I think it's like book 6 onwards for Black Panther.
Cool. That sounds really interesting. Yeah. It's it's all good. So I think tonight we are doing Falcon with Winter Soldier. We might also end up doing Ant-Man and the Wasp as well on our timeline watch through. We'll see how it goes. It'll be good regardless. Oh, and I've got to get that Moon Knight deck off you as well at some point.
Well, yeah, I didn't get over to the printer in time because they only opened from 10 to 3. So
that's fine.
It'll be Monday before I get
That's fine. Whenever it happens, it's all good. All right, let's get out of here. I've got more shows to download and turn into podcasts. Yike. So yeah, we will catch you again on Wednesday. So that'll be cool. We will be having our special guests, the Drive Check team, which will be really, really awesome. Looking forward to that as we sort of like delve into the world of TCGs and stuff.
Yes. I'll have my Cardfight Vanguard decks beside me so I can ask them questions.
And having never played Cardfight Vanguard, I will be the ultimate noob, so that'll be fine.
Well, you do know the new release in May is a great jump-on opportunity. Like, the starter decks are, I think, going to be like $3.99 each, and they're complete decks.
Wow.
Yeah. They've really, it's really smart, because they're like, the money is made from the boosters, and they want to make sure everyone gets started and gets a flavor for everything.
That's a very aggressive price point.
Yeah, and the decks are going to have like 4 of everything, which is like the standard. So not like Pokemon where you're getting 2 cards and 1 card. These are constructed decks that are fully playable.
I will definitely give that a shot then. That'd be cool.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing how excited they are about it and why.
Cool. All right, let's get out of here before Ken starts talking about Steve Buscemi again. Have a lovely rest of your day and a splendid weekend, folks. We will catch up with you later next week. Be good.
Yes.